It's a rare inside look at the 45th president. ABC News with exclusive access over 2 days. A welcome surprise for reporters whom he's called the enemy of the people.
Hello, folks. President, how are you? George, come on in.
Our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, there from the moment the president began his day.
Good morning, Mr. President. How are you?
To the very end, with some very candid moments in between.
At some point, I hope they get it, because it's a fantastic financial statement. It's a fantastic financial statement. And let's do that over. He's coughing in the middle of my answer.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like that, you know?
Your chief of staff.
If you're going to cough, please leave the room.
Get a shot of, and I'll come over here.
You just can't.
Just to change the shot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, do you want to do that a little differently then?
Yeah, we just changed the angle. Yep.
We first hit the campaign trail in Iowa with the commander-in-chief as he prepares to officially launch his bid for a second term, hitching a ride in his brand new presidential limo, the Beast.
I mean, these people are so incredible. Look, they're crying. They're so cute.
What's your pitch to the swing voter on the fence?
Safety, security, great economy, and I think I've done more than any other first-term president ever. I have a phony witch hunt, which is just a phony pile of stuff. Mueller comes out, there's no collusion, and essentially a ruling that no obstruction, and they keep going with it. You know what? People are angry about it.
I don't think that's what he found, but we don't have time for that. Now we'll talk about that later.
That is what he found. Excuse me. He found no collusion, and he didn't find anything having to do with obstruction because they made a ruling based on his findings, and they said no obstruction.
He didn't examine collusion. He laid out evidence of obstruction.
Oh, are you trying to say now that there was collusion, even though he said there is no collusion?
He didn't say there's no collusion.
He said no collusion.
He said he didn't look at
George,
collusion.
the report said no collusion.
Did you read the report?
Yes, I did, and you should read it too.
I read
Come on,
it.
let's go. Let's go. Well, you should read it too, George.
Show us around.
In the Oval Office the next day, the president still defending himself.
He explicitly didn't look at collusion. He said there was no.
Report.
I did. He said that there was insufficient evidence to say there was a conspiracy.
Read the conclusion of the report. Just read it, okay? Sometimes I have false fights, like the Russian witch hunt. That's a false fight. That's a made-up hoax. And I had to fight that.
The first line of his report says they had a systematic attempt to interfere in our elections.
They did, but not me. And they also said, okay, that we rebuffed them. Okay.
Well, they said your campaign welcomed the help.
Excuse me. The Trump campaign rebuffed them. Now, anything having to do with Russia had nothing to do with our campaign.
Well, Paul Manafort.
Paul Manafort, they have Paul Manafort on taxes and many other things. Nothing
giving
to
polling
do with
information to the Russian.
I don't know anything about that. What difference does polling information make? It doesn't matter. And Putin, I will say this. If he had it, it was up to him, he would much rather have Hillary Clinton be president right now. And all of these countries would rather have Biden or anybody else but Trump. Okay, let's put yourself in a position. You're a congressman. Somebody comes up and says, hey, I have information on your opponent. Do you call the FBI?
If it's coming from Russia, you do.
I've seen a lot of things over my life. I don't think in my whole life I've ever called the FBI. This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong.
Your campaign this time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
You want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it. If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI if I thought there was something wrong.
Those comments became the subject of swift backlash. 2 days later, Trump telling Fox News he would still look at the dirt, but...
Of course you have to look at it, because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody.
Yesterday, in an interview with my colleague Jonathan Carl, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that the time for an impeachment inquiry was now.
Well, I think every day that passes, the pressure to impeach grows.
Meanwhile, Speaker Nancy Pelosi on CNN downplayed Democrats' efforts to impeach.
I don't think there's anything more divisive we can do than to impeach a president of the United States.
While we were out on the trail with the president in Iowa, former Vice President Joe Biden was also on the ground and on the attack.
I believe that the president is literally an existential threat to America.
He's still leading the polls on the Democratic side. It's tightening up a little bit, and
It's tightening up a lot, which is interesting.
but he's still beating you, according to the polls.
Well, I don't believe those polls. There's no way he beats me in Texas.
But even your own polls show you're behind right now, don't they?
No, my polls show that I'm winning everywhere.
Those poll results so all-consuming for the president that a few seconds later he went off the record to call his campaign manager.
Okay, so hold it off for a little while. Just call Brad on the phone.
Days later, ABC News obtained some of that internal Trump polling data confirmed by the campaign that showed the president far behind in key battleground states earlier this spring. But the campaign said that more recent polls show a vast improvement.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Back in the White House the next day, that polling still on the president's mind.
On Good Morning America today, they had that phony polling information. I explained to you last night that it was phony, but you didn't do anything about it.
Why does it bother you so much?
Because it's untrue. I like the truth. You know, I'm actually a very honest guy. If I thought they were correct, I wouldn't be complaining at all. I understand that. It's like the witch hunt that goes on. No collusion with Russia. There was no collusion.
By Sunday, the Trump campaign had cut ties with a number of its pollsters. While overseas, the president has taken an out-of-the-box approach to foreign policy, striking an unusually warm relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un.
I just received a beautiful letter from Kim Jong Un, and I think the relationship is very well, but I appreciated the letter.
1 year ago today, we were in Singapore, and you also put out that tweet, there's no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea. But there is a nuclear threat today, isn't there?
Well, it could change. I would say not much. There's been no nuclear testing, except for very short range. And that's something that a lot of nations test, frankly, what he tested. I think we've made tremendous progress.
You think he's still building nuclear weapons?
I don't know. I hope not. He promised me he wouldn't be. He promised me he wouldn't be testing.
So you still trust him?
Well, look, I couldn't tell you that. It would be very insulting to him. But the answer is, yeah, I believe that he would like to do something. I believe he respects me.
Do you
At some
worry that
point,
he could be playing you too?
Well, look, I put on sanctions. The sanctions are on. We've gotten our hostages back. We've gotten the remains of our great heroes.
George asked the president about the return of one American, college student Otto Warmbier, who came back from North Korea in a comatose state and later died. Brazenly, the North Koreans reportedly billed the United States $2 million for Warmbier's medical care.
Did they try to make you pay for Otto Warmbier?
Well, when you say me, not
the United
me,
States.
because I didn't know him at that time. That was a very different deal. But here's the bottom line. I ended it. We didn't pay. And I have great respect for Otto's parents. And what happened to Otto is horrible, horrible. But we never paid for Otto.
The uncertain relationship with North Korea will likely follow him as the campaign cycle heats up.
Thank you very much, Iowa. We love Iowa. Thank you very much.
President Trump has his eye, of course, on the 2020 campaign, but he's also thinking about his legacy. On his agenda, a redesigned Air Force One.
So, you know, the big news is we ordered a new plane.
It's the first time since the Kennedys who changed the color from orange to iconic blue and white.
Red, white, and blue.
You designed it?
Yeah. First time.
A striking resemblance to Trump's personal plane known as Trump Force One. Our 30 hours with President Trump ends here in the White House with a serenade by the Marine Band. He and the First Lady ascend the stairs to their private quarters. A most traditional of rituals for a most untraditional president. You can watch the interviews with the president from that 30-hour time period on abcnews.com.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.